Hello and welcome back. In this lesson we are going to discuss the UK residents and who shall pay the tax. If someone who is living in the UK shall pay tax, or someone who is outside UK, say for example someone in Qatar or Dubai, if he is resident in the USA or Qatar or UAE, then will he be liable to pay UK tax or not? Alright. Now before we move to this topic, let me just give you an example so that you can solve when you have time, because our previous topic was relevant to partnerships. So I'll just give you an example so that you can solve when you have time. I'm just going to share the screen with you now. Here you go. As you can see on the screen, this is a question from past exam paper, and it was examined in June 2009, and the question name is Simon. I've already shown you this question before, while showing you the small capital allowances, where in the main pool or the special rate pool where the amount is less than £1,000 before claiming writing the allowance, then the whole amount will be our capital allowances. That part is also in this question, but we are now going to do the partnership question. Now, if you have exam kits, I assume that you will have. If you have exam kits, that's fine. This is the BPP exam kit. If you don't have BPP exam kit, you can find this question in other exam kits as well by the name Simon, or you can just find the question which is examined in June 2009. Right? Now, if you just go back to the question where it says requirements, now the first requirement is calculate Simon's share of tax-adjusted trading loss for the year ended 5th of April 2016. Now, Simon is just one partner of a partnership which was being carried out. So examiner wants to know just Simon's share of trading loss for the year ending 5th of April 2016. So Simon might be working. for the partnership, so he will be getting some salary. So when we will calculate the loss, so if it is a loss, then if we pay the loss, then it will increase the total loss, right? So now this loss, the eventual loss, would be distributed between the partners, right? Not the loss before salary, it will be the loss after salary which would be distributed among the partners, and that would although that would be the loss, that would go into the individual's account, but if it is being paid some salary, now that salary would reduce the eventual loss as far as individual is concerned, alright? Now please do that question if you have the exam kit. If you don't have exam kit, and if you want to buy one from our website, just email on admin@accountancytube.com. So we only sell it for £5 to £10, I think. So you can just email on admin@accountancytube.com, where you can find the BPP exam kit. But you can buy it from market as well. They're just from $10 to $20 anyway, right? So that's it. And that question you should please make sure that you do that question. Right? Now if we move back to our notes, and if we come to our topic, which is our today's topic, residents, UK residents, right? Now, as I said to you earlier, that we know that we are calculating tax and we are studying tax from quite a long time now, and it is our last chapter before we move to capital gains tax, which is our second topic. Right now, this is our last topic as far as income tax is concerned. Now, although now we have almost completed income tax, but we don't know yet that who shall pay tax. Will I be liable to pay tax if I am living in India? If I am living in India, I have some property in UK, will I be liable to pay tax? If I am living in the UK, but I am not working, I am only coming to the UK for a few weeks, will I be liable to pay some tax as well? So these are the questions which will be answered in this lecture and in this chapter of the notes. So let's go to the notes to read the question, and as I'm on the screen now, hang on, I will have to, excuse me, I will have to download the lecture notes, because I have got one, but these are for F6. Yeah, I have got it now. As you can see on your screen, that it says a residence, and it is a chapter 10 of the notes on page 39. I assume that you have already downloaded it. Let's say that a person a person is liable, it says person I, it is not person I, a person is liable to UK tax if he is resident in the UK for a given tax year. So if someone is resident in the tax year, then they will be liable to pay UK tax. But who would determine that someone is liable to UK, someone is resident in the UK? How would you determine someone is resident in the UK? Now, if we just look the resident name, resident simply means someone who is living somewhere. I am resident in my house. I am resident in my city. I am resident in UK if I am living in the UK. Right? So that would that is simple if we just look at the word. But there are a few questions to answer, and HMRC has given us guidelines to determine who is resident. Now these are some tests which you can see on your screen. These are called automatic non-residence test. Now if anyone person has these things in him, then that person will be classified as non-UK resident, and he won't pay any tax. Right? Now who is this person? It says that a person who is in the UK for less than 16 days in a tax year. Now if I come to the UK, if I visit the UK and I spend only 16 days or less than that, then I won't be classified as UK resident. So I will be automatically non-UK resident. This is automatic non-residence test, you can say. So automatic non-residence test. Now first automatic non-residence says if I spend less than 16 days in a tax year, then I won't be UK resident. Right? Now please make sure you remember these, because these are very, very important as far as exam is concerned. These are very, very important, these rules are, as far as the P6 exam is concerned. The second says a person is in the UK for less than 46 days and who has not been resident during the previous 3 tax years. If you haven't been resident in the UK for previous 3 tax years and you spend less than 46 days, then still you will be automatically non-resident. And the third test says a person who works full-time overseas subject to not being in the UK for more than 90 days. If you work overseas, say if you work in the UAE or Dubai and you spend less than 90 days in the UK, then you will not be classified as UK resident, so you will be automatically non-UK resident. Right? Now the second test which it says, this is the list of the tests which says automatic UK resident. Now these are the people, if any of the conditions apply, these are the people which will be classified as automatically UK residents. So no more tests needed. Now what are these conditions? If a person spends 183 or more days in the UK, then he is automatically non-resident. So it is almost more than 6 months. So if you're spending 6 months in the UK, so you are automatically resident. The second one, it says if you have only home in the UK, so I have only one home which is in the UK, then I am UK resident. And the third one, it says if I work full-time in the UK, so if I work part-time in the UK, then I might not be automatic UK resident. If I work full-time in the UK, then I am UK resident. Alright? Now these were the conditions which indicates automatic UK resident or automatic non-UK resident. What if someone is not automatic UK or not automatic non-UK resident? What would happen then? Then we need to see more details. Say for example, it says 183 days or more. If someone has spent 183 days or more, he is automatically UK resident. What if I spend 150 days in the UK? I won't be automatic UK resident, and I won't be either automatic non-UK resident. So what would happen then? In that case, we'll have to see more details. We'll have to see how many ties I have with the UK, how many relations I have with the UK. The more relations I have, then more likely I am going to be a UK resident. Now what are UK ties? Now it says beneath that, the UK ties applied only if automatic tests cannot define the residence. Right? Where a person's residence status cannot be determined according to any of the automatic tests, then his or her status will be determined on how many ties they have within the UK and how many days they stay during a tax year in the UK. Now we'll have to see. Now these are only 5 ties which you have to remember, and it is very, very important as far as exam is concerned. Please make sure you memorize these. These are very, very important because the residence is always examined in the question. Excuse me. Now 5 ties are, if you have a close family member, say you have a child or a wife in the UK, that is one tie. Another tie is having a house in the UK which is made use of for more than 90 days or 90 days. So that is another tie. if you're doing substantive work in the UK, and where substantive work means 40 days or more, that would be also a tie. Alright, after that it says being in the UK for more than 90 days during either of the previous 3 tax years. Now if you are in the UK for previous 3 tax years, for 90 days or more, then either of the previous 2 tax years, then that is also that is also a tie. After that it says spending more time in the UK than in any other country, that would also be a tie. Alright, now these are only 5 ties. As I said, you'll have to memorize these, because if you know these, the more likely you're going to secure some easy marks. Now there is a very strange rule in the UK, although we know that this many days, that many days, 183 days, 16 days, 46 days. But what is a day in the UK? Now it says just beneath that, a day in the UK is any day in which a person is present at midnight in the UK. So say for example, if I go to the UK and my flight arrives at 1 in the morning, so 1 midnight, 1 a.m., and if I had a meeting in the morning at 10 o'clock, so I attended the meeting, and my meeting got finished at lunchtime, about 1 o'clock, and after doing lunch I just went to the market to do some shopping, and my return flight was about 11:30 p.m. So when I returned to the airport, it was 11:30, so I went back to Dubai. Right? Now I only spent 1 day. Actually, I spent 1 day in the UK, almost 23 hours. However, as far as taxation is concerned, I did not even come to the UK, so I did not spend even 1 single day in the UK. So a person is spend 1 day in the UK if he is present at 12 midnight. While in the other case, say for example, another person who arrived in the UK at 11:30 p.m. in the night, so it was 11:30 p.m. and he arrived at 11:30 p.m. and then he stayed for 2-3 hours in the UK, and he then took another flight at 5 in the morning, say, right, in the next day, after 6 hours or 5 hours, right? Now if he left after 5-6 hours, although he spent less than my hours, but he will be considered as spending 1 day in the UK as far as taxation is concerned, because he was present at midnight, 12 o'clock. So it is a bit strange rule it is a bit very different, or you can say very odd rule, which is not understandable to me at least, but HMRC says that, so we must follow it. And then after that it says that a person's residence status is found by comparing the number of days they are in the UK during a tax year against how many ties they have in the according to the table. Now, although after memorizing the ties which are listed above, now if you have memorized these ties, then how would you determine someone's residence? Now the table below will determine that, the table which is given on the next page. Now this table says, anyway, this table will be given to you in the exam, so you don't have to memorize this table. So this will be given to you in the exam. It says if you have spent less than 16 days and you haven't been resident before, you will be automatically non-resident. And you have been resident before, still you will be automatically non-resident. Alright, so that's the first one. Now if you could please look at the last one, it says 183 days or more. Now even if you have been resident before or not, it doesn't matter, you will be automatically resident in both cases. Now the between ones are 16 to 45 days. If you're in the UK for 16 to 45 days and you previously have been resident, so you need 4 ties to be considered as UK resident. If you are not previously resident, then you will automatically non-resident. And the second one says the different rule, and the other ones are different rules. So the most days you spend in the UK, the less ties you need, and the more ties you have in the UK, you only need less days to spend in the UK. Still, you will be considered as UK resident. All right. So that was our UK residence. All right. So that's it for this lecture. We will see the next lecture with little bit more complicated issues as far as UK residence is concerned. All right. So till then, goodbye, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you.